Have you ever wondered why stupidity seems so powerful? Why, throughout history, foolish ideas and incompetent leaders often dominate? Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the German philosopher and theologian, warned that stupidity is not about low intelligence, but about surrendering the will to think. He argued that stupidity is more dangerous than malice, because while evil can be exposed and resisted, stupidity blinds people to reality itself. Bonhoeffer wrote these insights while imprisoned by the Nazis, witnessing firsthand how ordinary, even educated people surrendered their minds to propaganda and conformity. Today, his warning feels more urgent than ever. In an age of social media echo chambers, mass distractions, and viral misinformation, stupidity has become a collective force. It spreads faster than truth, shaping decisions in politics, culture, and even our personal lives. The terrifying truth is this: stupidity is not the absence of intelligence, it's the refusal to use it. Bonhoeffer's insight forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. Stupidity thrives in groups. Alone, a person might think critically, weigh evidence, and question authority. But within a crowd, many surrender their independence and let the collective mindset replace individual judgment. History shows us how entire populations have embraced destructive ideologies, not because they were inherently evil, but because they stopped thinking for themselves. This is what makes stupidity so dangerous. It isn't passive ignorance, it's active conformity. Once people identify with a group, they often adopt its beliefs without question, defending them even against evidence and reason. The danger multiplies when leaders exploit this herd mentality, presenting simple slogans, clear enemies, and emotional triggers. Stupidity, then, is not an individual defect, but a contagious social force, one that can spread like wildfire and shape the destiny of nations. But why do intelligent people fall into the same trap? Bonhoeffer argued that stupidity has little to do with IQ. A highly educated person can still become stupid if they abandon the responsibility of independent thought. In fact, intelligence can sometimes make the problem worse, because clever minds can rationalize anything once they choose conformity. This is why we see professors, scientists, and politicians throughout history aligning themselves with disastrous movements. They weren't lacking knowledge. They lacked the courage to resist. When truth becomes inconvenient, even the brightest minds may retreat into comforting lies. This is the terrifying paradox. Stupidity is not born from ignorance, but from willful blindness. To resist it, we must develop not just intelligence, but moral and intellectual courage, the strength to think when others refuse, and to question when others remain silent. Stupidity, Bonhoeffer explained, also thrives under certain conditions: fear, uncertainty, and the craving for security. When societies face crises, economic collapse, war, or cultural upheaval, people become desperate for order. In such moments, they often prefer simple lies over complex truths. Leaders who promise clarity, even if it's false, gain followers more easily than those who present difficult realities. This is the soil where stupidity grows strongest, environments of stress and anxiety. In times of crisis, the appeal of blind obedience outweighs the challenge of independent thought. This is why authoritarian regimes, past and present, rely not just on violence, but on the manipulation of fear. Fear makes thinking costly. Obedience feels safe. But in that safety lies the surrender of freedom. And once freedom is surrendered, reclaiming it is far more difficult than defending it in the first place. One of the most dangerous aspects of stupidity is its resistance to reason. Bonhoeffer noted that when you argue with an evil person, you may expose their lies. But when you argue with a stupid person, facts bounce off like arrows on stone. Logic, evidence, even lived experience often fail to break through. Instead of correcting themselves, stupid individuals double down, defending their position with cliches, slogans, or blind faith. This makes stupidity nearly impossible to defeat by debate alone. It's not ignorance you're facing, it's the refusal to think. The more you challenge them, the more stubborn they become. This is why entire communities can cling to false beliefs long after they've been disproven. The power of stupidity lies not in its weakness, but in its unshakable certainty. To confront it, we must find strategies beyond argument. We must create environments that reward thought rather than punish it. Stupidity is also seductive because it feels safe. Thinking critically requires effort. It means questioning comfortable assumptions and facing unpleasant truths. But stupidity offers a shortcut. It gives people ready-made answers, easy explanations, and a sense of belonging. Instead of wrestling with complexity, they embrace simplicity. Us versus them. Good versus evil. These black and white frames reduce anxiety and make life predictable. Leaders and media outlets know this, which is why they package reality into simple narratives designed to appeal to emotion, not reason. Once someone buys into these stories, they feel empowered, even enlightened, while actually being manipulated. This illusion of certainty is what makes stupidity so contagious. It feels good. And when stupidity feels rewarding, it spreads effortlessly through families, communities, and nations until it becomes the dominant culture, replacing thought with repetition and freedom with obedience. But Bonhoeffer didn't leave us without hope. He believed that stupidity, while powerful, is not inevitable. The antidote lies in awareness and responsibility. First, we must recognize that stupidity is not out there in others. It lurks within us too. Each of us is vulnerable to surrendering our mind to groupthink, to propaganda, to comforting lies. The fight against stupidity begins with self-awareness, asking ourselves whether we are truly thinking or merely repeating. Second, we must nurture spaces where questioning is valued. Schools, workplaces, families, and communities that reward curiosity instead of punishing it. Finally, courage is essential. It takes courage to stand apart from the crowd, to doubt when others believe blindly, to speak when silence is easier. Bonhoeffer's life itself was a testament to this courage. He chose truth over safety, even when it cost him everything. The modern world makes Bonhoeffer's warning more urgent than ever. Today, stupidity spreads not just through speeches or rallies, but through algorithms. Social media amplifies the loudest voices, not the wisest ones. Outrage, fear, and oversimplification travel faster than reflection or nuance. Echo chambers trap individuals in bubbles where their beliefs are constantly reinforced, making independent thought even harder. Misinformation, once confined to rumors, now scales globally in seconds. This is why resisting stupidity requires digital literacy, the ability to question sources, analyze motives, and slow down before reacting. We cannot afford to consume information passively. We must approach it like investigators, asking, who benefits from me believing this? What evidence supports it? In a world flooded with data, wisdom belongs not to those who know the most, but to those who question the best. So what can we do? The battle against stupidity begins with each of us. It means refusing to be passive consumers of ideas and instead becoming active seekers of truth. It means slowing down before we share, questioning before we believe, and thinking before we obey. Bonhoeffer's warning wasn't just about politics. It was about everyday life. Every time we challenge a lazy assumption, resist a manipulative message, or choose courage over conformity, we chip away at the power of stupidity. The responsibility is heavy, but the alternative is far worse. A society where thought dies and obedience thrives. If this message resonates with you, don't just let it fade. Carry it forward. Start by asking yourself today, what belief am I willing to question? Share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for more deep dives into philosophy and psychology. And remember, the greatest act of rebellion is to think for yourself.